Hello lovely ones, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan Astrology Report with me, Rebecca Marie. I'm filming this really early in the morning, so I'm a little bit groggy and I'm also incredibly hot, and yeah, I'm currently in Barcelona. Today we're going to Portugal. Just been in France, getting all the Templar codes. I've had to turn my fan off to do the video, so I'm incredibly warm, but I'll just keep dabbing and dabbing. So it's a really significant moment. 27th of August is the first day of the new cycle. So if you haven't already got your Galactic Mayan diary and you want to journey this cycle of time consciously, I really recommend you get one. So I'll put the link in the description and in the comments, and you can just go and have a look gander, have a see what it's all about. But yeah, it's the power of this time framework is very hermetic. This is something that I've been realizing recently. So hermeticism is essentially like the study of reality and the recognition that, you know, cause and effect is what reality is made of, you know, and the inner and outer world are mirrors. And if we are able, you know, I think a lot of the time we start with, and this links quite beautifully to, you know, this first archetype, the red dragon. This video is actually making me think of, so in 2019 when we started this 13-year cycle, I'd just got into a relationship with somebody and it was really hot in England. So I was like, oh, I'll do the video whilst we were on this adventure. And I was sat in a car melting in some weird car park, and for some reason this is making me think of that. So yeah, before I digress too much, 27th of August, new spin begins, and the new spin, the archetype that begins the whole 9-month cycle, which is actually my sign, as I itch my mosquito bites, is the red dragon. So as I say, you know, this whole framework of time supports us to recognise how we are essentially and where we're at in evolution through the studying of external reality to reveal universal truths. And I think a lot of the time, you know, we can approach the idea of this mirrored reality from a place of, how do I get what I want? So what do I need to do internally to ensure that I manifest what I want in the external? But the beauty of this modality and homeopathy and things like that is that they almost flip that script to the other direction, and it is, what do I know about where I'm at internally in my evolution through what I'm experiencing and seeing on the external? So as we begin this new cycle of time, we are in the energy of red dragon, which is about birth, which is about mother, which is about primal awareness. It's the beginning, you know, like the snake eats its tail. It's the intersection of that. So within the idea of, like, you know, ancient awareness, we really had something that I've been really diving into, hence why I'm here, recently is, sorry, I just need to put some spit on the ever-increasing bite on my ankle, is because I've been diving into all things Templar. So you'll likely know that early last year, I went on a pilgrimage to southern France, and in that pilgrimage I discovered Mary Magdalene at a much deeper, much more embodied level. And as a result of that, I've continued to go on this like Gnostic, inner revelatory, feminine, magic, Yeshua code awakening process. And what that's sort of taken me through, which is the way that I operate, is, you know, history and spirituality and politics are not separate entities. And when you actually start to look at the history and put the history into context with the spiritual teachings and the politics of the time and what was emitted and why, and then what that's created in the present, is fucking fascinating. So that's led me to this Templar intersection, and I'm actually going to be running an online journey for the start of this spin that is very much anchored in that Templar awakened masculine code, but diving into it through the sacred feminine. So again, I think I'll post another video when I'm home to share a bit more about that, or I'll be writing about it on my social media, but I'll put the link here so you can just look at the landing page, because I'm not that good at consistently advertising, but I do birth and create really cool things. So the whole Templar sort of coding, it's not just about, you know, learn the secrets of reality, it's also about this energy of integrity. And the energy of Red Dragon, the beginning of the cycle, really what we're being invited to do is feel into this primal ancient awareness. And this ancient awareness was very much anchored in an understanding of how reality functioned, you know, the mythic realms. It wasn't just that there was like this archaic, backwards, not yet getting how reality works sequence of generations that existed before us. It's actually more that there was a wisdom that was so integrated that I feel it didn't always need to be made so explicit. So with that in mind, you know, this 13 days, this beginning of the cycle, is very much about how do we move from a place of embodying that ancient awareness. What does that mean now? You know, what does it mean to operate in this very sleepy, very mechanically minded, very disconnected from awareness of the sacred world, with that old school awareness switched on? What does that look like? What does your life look like if you integrate more of what your soul is desiring? Sorry, my amazing partner just came back with our coffees. So, what does it mean to integrate ancient awareness into your present day life and consciousness, knowing that we are here to bridge the two? And I think this is something that is very important to integrate. You know, this has been a really big part of my journey and kind of a big part of why I went back to my birth name, because I think following a lot of the experiences that I had, I just didn't want into the modern world. I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't, you know, I wanted to just be in soul. I didn't want to be in my wounding of my human lineage. I didn't want to be in material culture, all these different things. My ego was like, no, I don't want that. And then as time's gone on and as the unraveling's gone deeper and deeper and deeper, I guess the revelation is we've beamed into now. This incarnation is happening within this world, and I don't think it's just about, hey, we're here to change it. I think it's, hey, we're here to experience it. So what does that mean? So to experience the modern world, the modern mentality, the modern ways of being, whilst also holding the ancient code of the sacred and this devotional quality to the universe, to God, to really framing and recognizing. And this is why, you know, the mythic realm is so key, I feel, and why I so appreciate the work of Carl Jung, and, you know, obsessed with that guy, because he really brought the like modern mind to the ancient mind. You know, he created this bridge of like, oh, it wasn't just like misguided, you know, stories to understand why there was thunder. It was, oh, these are the tales of, you know, the archetypal realms of humanity that we still exist within. So in terms of like the integration of ancient awareness to modern living, the thing that feels so ripe for me at the moment is this idea of like, we are here on a hero's or heroine's journey, you know, and if you don't know what that is, give it a Google. So if that is the case, how do we then reframe all of our experiences, all of it? And it's an internal reframe, right? It's not like, oh, the only social things that I do are drumming circles because I don't want to interact with muggles, or, you know, I'm not going to go and take that bit of work. Daisy. Or I'm not going to integrate with the world in whatever way, right? Because, you know, that doesn't feel spiritual to me. It's not necessarily about like what's happening on the surface, it's about what's happening underneath. So like, how do I then integrate that experience? What has that experience taught me? So yeah, okay, I'm going into a situation, you know, with family or friends or people that I know that, you know, aren't necessarily super spiritual, but the whole thing is super spiritual, you know, because we're in that place of like, okay, the way that I frame my reality is in that loving, devotional, this is a mythic, archetypal journey experience, which then also, you know, brings us out of victimhood and all that dodgy stuff too. Now the other element of Red Dragon, like the shadow of Red Dragon, is about codependency. So with that, right, when we aren't in our connection to spirit in a way that isn't performative, it's not about the action, it's about the internal, how much do I talk to God? How do I talk to God? Do I feel like I've really nurtured that relationship internally? And if that isn't being nurtured, then we are going to go to the codependent relationships, the addictions, the I need to put something in or take something in to make me feel connected because I've not nurtured my connection. And holy moly, has that been part of my journey as a little red dragon being. So, for the next 13 days, the theme is integration, ancient awareness. What does it mean to reframe your life as a hero or heroine's journey on an archetypal level? Have a little look at what that means if you don't know what I'm on about. The tendency will be, or the marker, the revelation is, oh, I'm in this like addictive pattern again, or I'm in this wonky way of relating again, or whatever it is. Oh, that means that I've not been nurturing my inner flame. So I'm going to do some inner flame nurturing. Beginning of a cycle, so notice what comes in, because often, you know, the things that come in now are revealing, you know, what's going to be coming. But we can also feel into it, what do you want for the next 9 months? What do you want to birth? This is a wonderful time to feel into like, at the end of this 9 months, I would like blah, blah, blah. And if you want to journey all of those things and so much more with me, have a little look at the link in the comments or in the description that shares with you the online 5-day immersion that I'm going to be hosting, which is going to be rad. And get a diary if you haven't already got a diary, and I send you so much love.